Welcome to 7 Pot Club. I'm Rob. Today I'm going to review the entire line of SANSI grow lights. I wanted to have a little fun with this episode, and I hope you enjoy.
I grow hot peppers.
The best light for growing plants is of course the sun. So when you're growing plants indoors, you want the next best thing. An artificial light source that mimics sunlight well enough to grow healthy, happy plants. With their energy efficiency, plus their ability to produce light of almost any color, LEDs have quickly become the technology of choice for grow lights. I mostly use lights to grow seedlings for planting outdoors in spring. Others use lights to grow plants indoors all year round. So which LED grow light is right for you? I hope to steer you in the right direction. In this special episode, I'm going to cover power consumption, light output, and coverage area for 7 different SANSI lights. I'm here in our basement grow room. There are over 300 hot pepper seedlings down here, representing over 100 varieties. SANSI grow lights are the exclusive light source for all these plants. Why SANSI? A company representative invited me to review their 70-watt grow light several months back, and I really liked its price-performance ratio, the natural color of its light, and its silent operation. This was in stark contrast to my older grow lights. Most of them cast an unnatural purple glow. They all had noisy fans and used way too much electricity. I reached out to SANSI, and they generously agreed to supply all the lighting for this year's hot pepper seedlings. In exchange, I agreed to provide an honest review of their complete line of grow lights. You know, I'm not just growing down here in the basement. There are pepper plants under SANSI lights on 3 of the 4 levels of our home. Let's take a look. Here in the cramped quarters of my home office, I've managed to find enough room for a small table that can accommodate 3 trays. I'm lighting this area with 2 SANSI 70-watt lights, hung from microphone stands. I don't mind working all day in the same room with these lights. Although they're pretty bright, the natural daylight color makes them easy on the eyes. And experts say that bright daylight spectrum lighting can lessen the effects of the seasonal affective disorder many of us Minnesotans experience during the winter months. And now, here's the attic, aka the pepper plant penthouse. It's nice and cozy up here. There are 2 2x4-foot tables with 4 trays each. Each pair of trays is lighted by a SANSI 60-watt light. I came up with a unique solution to wire and hang the lights up here, and I'll explain it in more detail later in this report. I know you're anxious for me to get to the details, so let's get started. Here are the 7 SANSI lights I'm reviewing today. 4 of the lights screw into a standard light bulb socket. The 2 on the right have their own power supply and cord and are designed for hanging or mounting. The light on the far right is not even really a grow light, but more on that in a moment. They all run nice and cool, thanks to their patented ceramic LED technology. I really don't want to get too far into the technical side of things, but I'll include a link in the description if you want to learn more. None of these lights are designed for large-scale commercial indoor farming. SANSI makes lighting for that, but the lights I'm reviewing today are for non-professionals that want inexpensive plant lighting that's efficient and silent, casting full-spectrum, plant-friendly light that is pleasant rather than creepy. Today, I'm going to perform some informal, but I hope informative tests to reveal how these lights compare. I'll plug each light into this kilowatt tester to determine how much power it consumes. The SANSI lights I'm reviewing today are rated from 10 watts to 100 watts. We'll find out how the wattage ratings match up to the actual amount of electricity each light consumes. Don't be confused by wattage. When you're shopping for LED grow lights, you'll see lights advertised as 600 watts, 1,000 watts, or even 2,000 watts. But if you look at the detailed specs, you'll see that all of them actually consume a fraction of that. Watts measure power consumption, not brightness. If you want to save money and conserve energy, your goal should be to use the least amount of power that will grow your plants effectively. You can't determine this from a wattage rating. That's why I'll use this inexpensive digital light meter to measure brightness and coverage area. The most accurate tool to measure light output from grow lights is a piece of equipment called a quantum flux parameter, which tests the entire plant growing spectrum from UV to infrared. This cheap meter tests a wide, yet more limited range, and is really designed for testing environmental lighting levels within homes and businesses. Unfortunately, accurate and sensitive parameters are way out of my price range. This $20 meter will still measure the output of the lights relative to each other, which is what I want to determine today. Let's talk for a minute about how light is measured. Lumens are a measurement of visible light output. When you see a lumen rating for a grow light, or any type of light, that means the total light output in all directions, whether or not it's actually in close proximity to or focused on your plants. That's where foot candles and Lux come in. They both measure the same thing: how much light is falling on a surface. Lux is the metric version. 1 foot candle is defined as 1 lumen per square foot, and Lux as 1 lumen per square meter. Readings in Lux are about 10 times greater than foot candles, because 1 square meter is roughly 10 times larger than a square foot. I'm going to measure in foot candles today, as one does here in the land of inches, gallons, and pounds. I'll take measurements from a height of 15 inches directly below the light. Then I'll measure at the edges of 1 by 1 foot, 2 by 2 feet, and 2 by 3 feet rectangles surrounding the light. This should reveal how much area each light can effectively cover. This sequence will give you an idea of how the coverage area increases when transitioning from the 10 watt to the 100 watt light. Now, time to take a closer look at each model. Let's start small and work our way up. The 10 watt light has 20 LEDs and a standard light bulb base. If you don't have a light fixture for it, you can find lamp cords with switches on Amazon or your local hardware store. The 15 watt is, as you would expect, slightly larger than the 10 watt. The plastic front cap of this light gets very hot to the touch while operating. Not more than a conventional incandescent bulb, and I don't think it's a problem, but it kind of surprised me because SANSI lights run very cool and the backside of the bulb remains cool to the touch. I'm going to compare all the lights in pairs. The power consumption for each is true to its rating. Brightness directly below is good and acceptable at 1 foot by 1 foot. It drops off quite a bit at 2 feet by 2 feet, with the 10 watt almost unmeasurable at that distance. These lights would be great for a house plant or a small tray of seedlings. These are much brighter than the smaller bulbs. The 36 watt is especially bright directly below because it has a center bank of lights. Light output is still strong at 2 feet by 2 feet and almost acceptable at 2 by 3 feet. I think either of these could effectively light 2 standard 10 by 20 seedling trays. Next, here's the 60 watt. This one has an odd form factor. 4 banks of lights on hinges that fold out from the center. This unit is quite large for a screw-in light, but that's probably because the design comes from SANSI's line of garage ceiling lights. They do this a lot, taking a proven design and tweaking the color temperature to optimize it for plant growth. I made these work in the attic by using a 4-socket lamp cord and attaching it with zip ties to a lighting backdrop stand I'm not currently using for its intended purpose. Each of my lighting setups uses a Z-Wave smart switch to turn the lights on for 16 hours a day. Here's the light that got me hooked on SANSI, the 70 watt. Unlike the others I've shown you so far, this unit has a built-in power cord. That makes it much easier to hang anywhere you need it, facilitated by the included hanging mechanism with a couple of ways to adjust the height. It's also waterproof because its design is derived from an outdoor floodlight. The same design is also used for a blacklight party light and even a multicolor light with wireless remote. But I don't think either of those would be very effective for growing plants. Now for the comparison. The 70 watt is much brighter in the center because the 60 watt only has lights on its arms. And because the arms extend out in 4 directions, the 60 watt has better coverage. But overall, the light output is pretty similar. What's interesting is that the 70 watt uses a lot less electricity than the 60 watt. Must have something to do with its built-in power supply. Finally, here's the 100 watt. As I hinted at earlier, this is not a grow light. It's actually an outdoor floodlight I'm using indoors and off-label. It's designed to be bolted onto a surface, but can easily be hung using a rope clip hanger. This model has 18 light clusters and puts out quite a bit of light. Compared to the 70 watt, its light is noticeably cooler. I know it hasn't been tuned for plants, but my good friend Peter Stanley has used it successfully for growing peppers, and it's working well for me so far. Look at the comparison with the 70 watt. This is a very bright light and only draws 67 watts. Definitely can light 3 10x20 trays, which is how I'm using it, or maybe even 4 if you hang it a little higher. I really like all these SANSI lights. I've been using them for over 2 months now. None have malfunctioned, and as you have seen, my plants are green and healthy. Now back to the original question. Which SANSI is right for you? It all comes down to how much area you want to light. The 10 and 15 watt would be a good choice for a single house plant or a small number of seedlings. I'm using them to fill in coverage gaps in the basement. The 24 and 36 watt can cover a larger area, and I think they would be perfect for a larger plant or a couple of trays of seedlings. The 60, 70, and 100 watt lights are the workhorses. The 60 and 70 watt can cover 2 10x20 seedling trays with plenty of light, and for me are doing a better job with much less electricity than my old red blue lights. If you need to cover more area with just one light, consider the 100 watt floodlight. In the future, maybe SANSI will deliver a grow light version of this model. If you're in the market for a grow light, I hope this special report has been helpful in selecting the right one for you. If you want to buy a SANSI light or just learn more, there are links to purchase in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and tap the bell to receive a notification each time we post a new episode. I'm putting the finishing touches on a song I've been working on for a really long time and creating a music video to go along with it. It probably won't be the next episode, but I hope to publish it in the next several weeks. Be sure you have notifications turned on because it's my signature song and you won't want to miss it. We've got merch, including our 2019 Grow List poster, 7-Pot Club logo merch, plus other clever and quirky hot pepper related designs. They're available in t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, stickers, magnets, and buttons. Visit 7potclub/merch to learn more. And for even more 7-Pot Club, follow our daily exploits on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. For 7-Pot Club, I'm Rob.
I grow hot peppers